Today we're going to be painting your covers for your journal. Last time we glued the paper on, today we'll be painting. I have some examples here. I used 3 layers of paint on here, a base coat, and then 2 colors sponged on, and that's what we're going to do today. You may or may not have your fabric picked out, so if you do have it picked out, you can kind of decide what colors you want to use based on this. If you don't and just want to wing it, that's okay too. So today I have my 3 colors picked out over here. It doesn't matter which order you're going to apply them in. My very first layer, when you use sponge paint to apply this, my first layer, I'm going to put the paint directly on the cover because I'm covering the whole entire thing and then it'll waste less paint. So I'm just using my sponge and I'm just wiping it on there. So I want to make sure to get all of the white areas covered. Remember, it's easier to add paint than have too much on there to begin with. So I'm sure to get all of that on there. Okay. And then I'm also want to make sure to get the edges. This will help protect your book. When the paint dries, it kind of becomes like a plastic finish on there. So I am going to use all of my colors on the edge to build up that protection. Clean that on there. And I have 2 covers, so what I would do is paint this side and maybe set it aside so it has a chance to dry a little bit, and then do my second one. But since I'm doing the demo, I'm just gonna skip it and go straight to the other side. So I painted the one side, then I'm gonna flip them over, and you wanna paint where the paper's at. We're gonna cover this part with another sheet of paper, but I like to go ahead and paint anything with the paper on there so to make sure that I don't have any white showing when I put my cover on here, when we glue the binding together. So I'm gonna do that same technique. I'm just put a little bit on and I'm wiping it around. We just want a thin layer. You don't want this to be thick because you want it to dry quickly. Okay, so I have all that on there. Getting all those layers in there. So I would do the inside of this one now, and then I'm flipping this over. So what I can do is set this one aside, and I'm going to choose another color. And I'm using the same technique. So for this one, for these 2 colors, I'm gonna sponge them on. So the way I'll do that is I just flipped my sponge over. Okay, and then I'm blotting this off because I don't want a glob on there. Kind of like, if you know anything about makeup, kind of the same thing. We want just a light layer on there. So I'm lightly gonna dab. Again, you can always add more. So start off light. Very lightly dabbing. You can always add more, so if you wanted to go back over you could, or start pushing a little bit harder, but if you get a big blob on there, it's kind of hard to recover from that. You can paint your covers the same. I like to do them the same because book covers usually look the same front and back, but that's totally up to you. If you want to do them 2 totally different things, you could do that. If you want to do like an ombre, you could do that as well, but I don't like to spend a lot of time on this. I like to get it all done in one class period, just because later on, once you've got your cover on and we start working on your book, if you want to do something to the outside of it, you could. But this is just getting color on there so that you don't have white paper, and this also protects your book, like I said. So I'm going around the edge just like I did before. And then at this point, I would do my other cover, but I don't have that here, so I'm gonna keep going with this one. And I'm doing the same thing. Everywhere that I painted, I'll do that sponge technique. And dab paint over here as needed. You probably won't need a ton of paint for this part. Okay, so I did that, and I would go back and do my other cover. I'm going to flip it over for my last layer. You could grab another sponge. This color is pretty close, and for the demo, because I don't have it with me, I'm going to go ahead and do this color. I'm going to do this right here. and kind of blot that off so I don't have too much on there. So I have my base color plus 2 colors that I'm sponging on. This adds a lot of depth to what you're doing because you have those 3 colors on there. It's a lot more visually interesting to look at, even just colored on its own. Okay, and I'm going to go around the edge with this color too. So all of those colors help protect your book cover just from wear and tear. Over time, these will get kind of beat up because you're using them and looking at them, and you might have to kind of, you could do some patchwork on there later. So I went around the edge, and then I'm going to do this side too. Okay, so you'll do that with both covers. We want to finish this up today, so you can kind of go quickly with this, and when you're done, they'll go on the drying rack in the back.